The working group was a multi-professional group on one particular ward that could really look in depth at what end-of-life care meant for them. We met for half an hour every other week and we developed an action plan approach. We were able to test and come up with an idea that we could test on that ward in a safer environment before we then felt that we'd got it right.
Well, initially we were just working on one ward, and then after time we spread that out to 5 other wards, and between us we found out when the wards had their whiteboard meetings, when it was a multidisciplinary approach, when all of the team would stand and discuss all of the patients one by one at the whiteboard. And Rachel and I, between us, either attended these whiteboard meetings together or separately, and it was at these meetings that conversations were encouraged, and we could also do ad hoc teaching sessions to the nursing staff. And this was also when we introduced the emblem of a speech bubble, and that emblem is put against the patient's name on the whiteboard so that it became familiar to the ward staff that if a patient on the ward had an emblem, they would know that they had been highlighted to be part of the conversation project.
I think as a junior doctor, the hardest part of the situation is probably the diagnosis of the fact that someone is dying, because that's something that comes with experience, and therefore the way we deal with this is by having a lot of discussion with our senior colleagues and being led by our consultant and our seniors as to when we feel that a person is dying, discussing that with them before we then go and discuss with the family, so that we can go and discuss with confidence with the patient and their relatives that we are nearing end of life care and starting to open up those conversations. So I've been involved with the conversation project on a couple of levels. First of all, on the ward, we've ensured that we have had discussions whiteboard with the end-of-life coordinators and with the general MDT about patients that we feel are nearing end of life, that we'd like to open up end-of-life discussions with, and also those that we identify would be good to start having advanced care planning discussions. Additionally, we've also had small group sessions with our colleagues on the ward and the palliative care consultant in order to reflect on how our discussions with patients and their relatives surrounding end-of-life care, how they went, and learning from each other's experiences, and how we could do better, what we struggle with, and how different people deal with it.